Hello, welcome to Soulspirational Wellness. I'm Tish. And for those of you that have been following my channel, you've probably seen a couple of my soul session videos. Tonight, I am sharing with you another soul session that I recently had with permission from my client, of course. So what is a soul session? A soul session is when I am connecting spiritually with another person's soul, with their energy. And I do this to maybe help a client with clarity, some kind of insight, and maybe for healing purposes, all kinds of things. So in this latest session, so with this particular client, it was a distant session, meaning that my client wasn't physically with me. So I'm connecting psychically, intuitively, energetically, if you will. And I knew that I was going to go into the chakra system prior to the session, and so I did. And I want to share with you because there's a lot of information in here that I think is very universal. So I'm keeping out, of course, the more personal, private stuff, and I'm going to share the good stuff with you. Well, the other stuff is good too, it's just private. So let me start by saying that generally speaking, when we are working with the chakra system, we're going to start at the root and we're going to work our way up because the root is the foundation. In this case, I am beginning at the crown, just so you know. All right. So when I got into the crown chakra, I saw this beautiful imagery, and I was just flowing in this beautiful light, and I could see this beautiful angel above me. I don't know which angel. It just was this beautiful presence. So anyway, I come back down. I go up into the third eye, and immediately I was brought down into the High Heart Chakra, or the Thymus Chakra. And if this is new for you, and if you're interested, then I would suggest researching, Googling High Heart Chakra or Thymus Chakra. And it's called the Thymus or the High Heart just because of its location here. All right, so when I went in, I immediately felt like I wanted to tap on my client's High Heart Chakra. And this isn't unusual for me. When I think about the thymus, I think about things like the T cells. So when I'm working with clients and they're helping them with immune system issues, so to speak, I will work within this particular area. All right, so I found myself going in and wanting to tap on my client's High Heart Chakra. As I'm doing this, I'm tapping, but then I'm feeling into it, and I perceived this blockage within this particular chakra. And it came through of things that I would recognize if I were to go to someone's subconscious level. So some lower level energies that is coming through, was coming through as though it was blocking my client's light. As I'm feeling into the client's High Heart Chakra, I'm also feeling this blockage within the Throat Chakra. The Throat Chakra is our communication center, but it is also one's truth center. And we can think about things like, if one is telling a lie, their voice changes. We kind of get caught up when we're not speaking the truth. So I could feel the blockage of the high heart affecting the flow of energy through my client's throat chakra. So what I started to do was to send Reiki into this region for cleansing purposes, to try and dissolve, if you will, some of this gummed up energy, this blockage. So after working a few minutes, I could see some of that light coming through behind. Now, I want to be clear that I was perceiving, this blockage, doesn't diminish my client's divine light. It simply is a mass, a perceived mass blocking that light. So as I'm going through cleansing this, I could see some of that light around this blockage. So tapping into that light, I pulled it up to do some cleansing within the throat chakra and up into the third eye to do some cleansing there. So feel free to use this energy for cleansing if you are so guided to do so. All right, so anyway, I'm working on this. I come back down into the High Heart Chakra, and then I get a message. So it's this channeled message, and when I was done channeling the message, I came back up and placed the energy of these words within my client's High Heart Chakra. Now I'm going to repeat to you, I'm going to share with you what came through. You are welcome to repeat this with me if you would like. You can place one or both hands up at your high heart or thymus chakra so you can feel the energy as well. You may find that, let me rephrase that. If there are some words that are uncomfortable to you and you find that you have repeated the words because I'm speaking and you're repeating, right? You can just say delete, delete, delete. Just kind of back out those particular words. You can adjust them to what feels right for you. I'm just sharing with you what I got from this channeled message. All right. So with that, quote, I forgive all those who have hurt me along my journey. From the time of my conception into this human body to this very moment, I release them, their words, their judgments, the pain they've caused. I release any and all of this from my soul. To be lighter and to operate from a higher vibration, I must lighten my load. I must lighten my soul. I refuse to take this energy from this one lifetime into the next. By acknowledging I am a divine being, I must acknowledge that these emotions and experiences are temporary. To ascend, I must release. One could use the term forgiveness, but truly it is an acknowledgement that my purpose is far greater than all these experiences combined. So I release them, the unpleasant stuff, the hurts, the pain. I release them to this earth in this lifetime. I unburden myself from them. As I do, my mission becomes even clearer. My purpose is direct and focused. In the name of Christ or Christ consciousness, I release it all. My karma is not about revenge or sorrow. To come to a zero balance, I release all my mistakes and misgivings, as they were made by my human self, my earth self. Then so shall they remain here on earth. So through Christ, through love, I release my wrongdoings and those that have done me wrong. Amen. So again, I took these words and I placed them within my client's High Heart Chakra. And as I did so, there was this cleansing, this greater cleansing that took effect. And I shared this information with my client as well, so they too could repeat the words for themselves within this area. So I used the energy, this cleansing, again, to cleanse out more of the throat, to cleanse out more of the third eye. So then I worked in the throat, the third eye, and then I wanted to drop back down into the traditional heart chakra space. So as I go into the heart chakra, I was reminded again about what I just stated, the words that came through for cleansing. But it also came through as the High Heart Chakra. So the High Heart Chakra is a place for connecting with divine love, divine compassion. And it was shown to me that the standard heart chakra is the human gateway, if you will, of love and compassion. So it is the standard heart chakra by which we are experiencing love and compassion on the earth. But the high heart chakra is that divine love that is always flowing through us, that is working its way down into the heart to open up. And it's important to, if your heart has been closed or hardened, and of course I mean matters of the heart, to do cleansing, to open up, so that this divine love that flows through us can flow easier throughout one's being, instead of being congested, so to speak, within a particular area. So in particular, I mean the heart center, whether it's the high heart or the standard heart chakra. All right. So again, you can use that the words that I just repeated to help cleanse even the standard heart chakra. So once I was done there, I went down into the solar plexus. So here, this is what I heard here. There is a belief, scratch that, there is belief and there is knowing. Belief is a bridge to knowing. And I believe in a past soul session, I got something very similar to this. There is belief and there is knowing. Belief is a bridge to knowing. Once you know truly who you are, belief is no longer required. Believe in yourself so that you can know yourself. And then I asked, how? And I heard, quote, by reminding yourself every day, throughout the day, I am a divine being. This life is temporary, but my spirit is forever. My spirit contains wisdom that this lifetime couldn't possibly experience. By living through my earth self, and only through my earth self, when I'm living through my earth self, not regarding the spiritual side, the spirit, by living through my earth self, I limit myself. Living through my knowledge, living through the knowledge and wisdom of my spirit, I shine brighter than the sun. Live your true essence, your spirit, not your matter, your physical self. Then there is no doubt, there is no question. It is, you are. And I was being shown how the high heart chakra, representing the divine self or the spirit, so the capital S. And the lower heart is what we're experiencing through the lower S self. And that when we are so caught up in the mundane, the everyday stuff, and we aren't paying attention to one's own spirit or soul, we can get, it was kind of, felt the energy of like a tunnel vision through the small S self. So if you notice that you've been kind of caught up in that and you've been away from meditation, or you're thinking about starting, which would be a wonderful thing to do, to bring yourself to that state of conscious awareness, to step into the energy of your capital S self, your higher self. Step into the energy. Acknowledge it, your higher self. Love it. For it is through you, your physical self, that you get to experience this world. But don't be stuck in a place of smallness of self. Experience Earth through the true self. It's even more incredible than you can imagine. So again, the everyday, if we just in the morning, just woke up and spoke these words to ourselves that, you know what, I am a divine being. My spirit has been around forever. I have, through different incarnations, experienced these different lifetimes and skill sets and lessons, whatever it may have been. So I come to this earth with great knowledge and experience, even if I'm not consciously aware, because they're stored in my energy. So step into the higher self in the morning. Feel that greatness of who you are. So I'm going to repeat just a part of this. Don't be stuck in a place of smallness of self. Experience earth through your true self. It's even more incredible than you can imagine. Think big. Bigger. Bigger yet. I could go on and still not touch on how powerful you are. Spirit doesn't need confidence. Man does. Ego does. But that, my friend, isn't really you. And again, this is working inside of the solar plexus. So no, it's man who is seeking confidence. Spirit already knows it is, so there's no reason, no need for confidence or seeking out confidence, because it already knows who or what it is. Okay. So then I came on down into the Sacral Chakra. The only thing I'm going to share here is I use the energy of this beautiful divine presence within my client, and just felt the enormity, the power of one's own being, my client's own being, just kind of emanating throughout the Sacral Chakra. And what I heard was beautiful stillness. And it was just this peace by stepping, working with this soul, him stepping into his own beautiful divine being and having that light just emanating through the sacral. It's lovely. So then when I was ready, I went down into the root, and this is what I heard. Use this chakra to ground your spirit, not your experiences. And I found that very interesting. It's important for one to ground their spirit for a bunch of reasons. You can Google it if it's new to you. But I think as humans, we do tend to ground our experiences of our particular lifetime. Our experiences can become the foundation upon which we walk. That isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when we are, here I'm specifically talking about the unpleasant aspects of life that we are holding on to, that is part of our foundation, that is overgrowing. In some cases, and at some points in life, we may even feel overwhelmed by our experiences that we have grounded, that we see in our earth. All right, so use this chakra to ground your spirit, not your experiences. As you release, the saying from the High Heart Chakra, that release statement, as you are releasing, rip out the roots from this lifetime that have died, that are dry rotted, that no longer serve you. And as I did this, it was, I could see my client in an overgrown field. And to be honest, I did this for myself later on that evening, and I could see myself in my own overgrown patch of earth, because again, we're at the root chakra. And I'm seeing, in both instances, these tall weeds, briars, thorns, these prickly kind of things. I'm seeing weeds. In weeds themselves, some weeds can actually choke off healthy plants. And when we have plants, maybe an unhealthy leaf that is dying, there's life force energy that goes in to that leaf. Once we prune, then that life force energy that was going into that particular leaf can go into the rest of the plant. It's the same with us. So when we get busy pruning, when we get busy cleansing, clearing out the overgrowth around us, then our life force energy is more centered and focused on us. So for all those little things, something that may have happened, decades ago, that we are still trickling this life force energy into, that doesn't serve us anymore. It's time to prune, time to release. So again, as you release, rip out the roots from this lifetime that have died, that have rotted, whatever it may be. Clear that space so it's easier for your spirit to ground. And then, when it's time to leave this earth, your spirit won't get snagged in the unhealthy overgrowth. And the way that I saw that when I'm working with people at the end of life, sometimes the imagery that comes through is while they're still here, it's kind of like I get this image of the spirit kind of wiggling its way loose from the physical body. So with this particular statement, with this imagery, I felt like as spirit is trying to release from the body, it's getting snagged again on these thorns. These briars are held down by the weeds. And I felt like these weeds may be things such as unhealed relationships, could be family or friends or co-workers, yourself. So we have this unhealthy stuff, this bitterness maybe that we're carrying, or anger, resentment, whatever it may be. And we're at the end of life, and it's like, as the spirit, just for an analogy here, as the spirit is trying to release, some of that is going with it. But if we are able to release now, in this lifetime, while we're present, while we're consciously aware of them, to go ahead and do the pruning and say, you know what, I'm not taking this with me into the next lifetime. I forgive myself, I forgive others, and just start pruning. Get your soil, the root chakra, governed by earth. And I see this for imagery purposes is soil. To make it healthy, to cleanse it. And then not only can the spirit ground better and easier, then when we are ready to release, because we do have the time here is finite, right? None of us know when we're going to leave. But if we can cleanse and we can do so easier, what a gift to oneself. And then to not take that with us into the next lifetime. I don't know, for me, that's really important. And then it goes on, you get to experience this lifetime as you for this finite amount of time. So enjoy it. Relish in your humanness. We have like these beautiful senses and physical eyes by which to see, arms to hug others with. So learn and release. So if you believe you're here to learn lessons, learn them and then release. If we've learned the lesson from a situation, we don't need to carry all the other stuff that goes along with it. We've learned it, so release all of that. The choice is yours. And then it went on talking about communication with one's higher self. And it's a reminder that when we are working with our higher self, if words are coming through that are demeaning, unpleasant, hurtful, more than likely it's probably your ego self speaking. But when the words are coming through as loving and compassionate, beautiful, nurturing, more than likely that is going to be your higher self that you're speaking to. And it goes on to say, continue to meditate. Continue to go inward to connect with this divine presence that is within you. So the soul, this the soul said to my client, I am you. You are me. I speak with one voice. How many do you speak with? The ego voice will keep you questioning. Speak with my voice, our voice. It's truly the only one. And even reading through that, sometimes we're also speaking through the voice of maybe a parent or a grandparent, a teacher, a neighbor, somebody who was in our environment that we learned things from them. And again, good, bad, and different. But I'm honing in on, like, the love stuff we want to keep. The high vibrational energy, the love stuff, like, that's awesome. But it's when we're talking about the energy of the words that keep us down, that keep us depressed to some degree, kind of brings me back up to the High Heart Chakra. All of us deserve. We deserve to be loved and supported, to feel loved, to know that we are lovable and that we are loving. We deserve that. And so often, so many of us, the internal dialogue is, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to amount to anything. I'm a failure. I'm never going to succeed at what I want to succeed at. That voice in our head, if we listen closely, we can listen to who may have said those words to us originally or planted that. So again, we aren't speaking with one voice, with soul, with our higher self, if we're using the words of others that we have picked up throughout one's lifetime. If I'm hearing an older sister or a parent or a teacher say something derogatory to me, and I pick that up as being my truth, that is going to affect my heart chakra energy, whether it's the standard or the high heart chakra. That hurts. And it's blocking one's own light. And it isn't our truth. That's why we have a hard time swallowing it. When somebody says something that we know isn't true, you're just not good enough. It hurts. It isn't the truth. So, cleanse, release, learn, release, do some pruning, get this stuff up and out because it isn't serving you. So, I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for listening to this evening's soul session. So until next time, thank you, be well, and namaste.